Garrett Kreamer. I'm going to bring Coach in here as well. Let's see here. Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's going on, Coach? I'll tell you what, the Coach Kreamer era starts off with a big-time win over Cecilia. So what's it like, Coach, I mean, to really set the stage, right, with a big-time win against the defending state champions? It's a nice way to start the era.
Yeah, big time win for our kids and our program. Just so excited for everybody involved. Our coaches and players, and they just kept fighting. We faced a little adversity, but our kids kept fighting, and it was just such a great win for us.
Absolutely, Coach, for sure. And tell me about to kind of give me a quick recap on the game, and what were some kind of the key factors for y'all to get up and get a win.
Well, I just want to tip our hat to our offensive line first and foremost. Those guys blocked so tough all game long, uh, allowed us to run the football, and then even at one point in the third quarter, I believe we had a drive that lasted the whole third quarter. Uh, so that was a big drive for us to just put the game on ice. So very proud of our offensive line.
Yeah, I mean that's where it all starts off, right, Coach? In the trenches on the offensive line, getting the job done. And yeah, I mean, what does this mean though? So I mean, I know Cecilia, I mean, came off a state championship, and to really set off the right foot. I mean, that's a tough opponent y'all played in Cecilia. I know you have a lot of respect for him. So, I mean, what does this really mean to not only the team, the confidence booster to get a win like this, but it's just a morale boost as well for the community, just to get the total buy-in.
Yeah, it's a big win for us. We knew Cecilia was going to be tough. They're a great ball club, coached really well, so we knew it was going to be a four-quarter game. So very proud of our guys for showing up, and I was proud of our conditioning. We had nobody really go down with cramps or anything like that. So it's just a tribute to the work they put in this off season, and this one does mean a lot to the community. I mean, it's just exciting to see these kids come out here and lay their hearts on the line and get this win for St. Martinville.
Yeah, really big win, Coach. I know we invited a couple of guys to the bowl game for media day, and tell me. I know those are some of the guys that y'all really leaned on. So tell me about some of the guys individually that really stood out tonight.
Yeah, those guys made big time plays. Starts with the quarterback, Kyrie Francisco. Was sharp all night, made some big throws in the pass game, ran the ball. He had a bunch of carries, so he toted the rock, and we're gonna have to rely on him to do that. He's such an athlete, and dual threat can do it all. And then Cohen Clues had a big game at linebacker, and then came in and had a touchdown run. Played some running back also. Kylan Skipper played great at corner all night long and caught a good ball down the seam on one drive. That was huge for us. Zyron Johnson had another big play on offense and also did his job on defense all night. So Curvin Fontenette's always solid like he always is. So proud of those guys and all the work they've put in.
Yeah, final score 34-29. Is that correct, Coach?
Correct.
34-29. St. Martinville over Cecilia. A big win to start the Coach Kreamer era. Coach, was there anything surprising to you, just maybe like in preparation or just something you want your team to really control? You talked about the offensive line being a big factor in the win. Just anything that you're really proud of the most in this performance.
Yeah, I'm proud of our guys. Whenever we did face adversity, we were always able to bounce back and make another play, and didn't let it snowball. Because there were some times Cecilia battled back. Whether they had a big play on offense or on special teams. We kept fighting, kept plugging away, and wasn't going to let that define us. And the boys just turned it into a four-quarter battle. So I'm so proud of them.
For sure, Coach. What was the message to the team, and I mean after the game, and just the atmosphere? What was your message to the team after such a big win?
I just thanked everybody for their hard work and congratulated them. Told them let's enjoy this one. this weekend, but then after that, it's back to work. We have a job to do. And just, it goes to show how good we really can be if we eliminate some of those mistakes that we did make. Sky's the limit if we keep getting better and building on this.
What's up on deck, Coach? I know you. I mean, you're going to enjoy the win. You're going to celebrate, party, have a good time. I know coaches like that 24-hour rule. Like to really reflect on the win, move on to the next opponent. So, what's coming up for you guys next week?
Yeah, we're just going to watch the film and learn from it, make our corrections, and get on the next opponent and be ready to go. Have another great week of practice and preparation.
Coach, thank you for your time. Coach, you're the first official guest of the season, so we get to kick off things right with the Coach Kreamer era.
Awesome.
So thank you so much, Coach, for all you've done with us, and appreciate your support. Looking forward to big things this year for St. Martinville. I know you're going to do a great job there, and it starts off with a bang.
Thank you so much, Jace. Appreciate you having me and everything you do.
Absolutely, Coach. We'll definitely talk over the course of the season. We'll probably have a couple of your guys maybe be Gridiron Football Player of the Week because we're getting that back as well. So appreciate your time, Coach. And
thank you, Jace. Bye.
All right, Coach. And that was Coach Garrett Kreamer from St. Martinville. Big time win this past Friday. So we're going to start. We kick things off with the coach. We're going to bring Allison joining me right now. Alex, right now
so
we're kind of
long.
having some. Yeah. I mean, like we start already with a bang. I mean, the Coach Kreamer era, we get things going. I know we said we're live on Facebook. We had some technical difficulties trying to get the stream on. So what we're going to try to do, we'll adjust, and what we'll do is we'll record this and then upload it first thing in the morning. So that way, before they get their college football fix tomorrow, then go and look at their high school scores and recaps, and hopefully we get back going to live. So it's the first show. It's week one, so there's going to be some kinks that we're going to iron out. But yeah, I mean, appreciate Coach Kreamer joining me, talking about a win. They defeated the defending state champions, the Cecilia Bulldogs. So big win, huge win for Coach Garrett Kreamer in St. Martinville.
Absolutely. Yeah, first off, happy to be on here, of course. Thank you for having me, and happy to kind of be a part of this throughout the season again for Ballin In Da Boot. Very exciting time, and it was an interesting week one just from kind of perusing the some of the scores. There were some interesting results certainly, but yeah, great win for St. Martin and St. Martinville, excuse me. It's been a very long day for St. Martinville, the win over Cecilia. Yeah, so Cecilia lost their head coach this past off season. They had a lot of turnover, so there were some questions about what that team was going to look like. But that's a great program, and getting a win over a defending state champion is always a really big deal, especially when you're kicking off an era for a new head coach like that. So, yeah, you don't need me to explain why that's a big deal, but it is certainly a really big deal to have that kind of a situation, especially like St. Martinville. It's a new head coach. They didn't have a very good year last year. It's a really big bounce back. You get a big adjustment from year to year with a lot of high school teams, and we saw this. We I don't know if we're going to go through every single result or anything, but we saw this throughout. Throughout the day, that like if you just use your expectations from previous years and then you see the results here, you're like, how did that happen? That shouldn't be possible. That shouldn't happen. And that's one of those examples. St. Martinville punching up. I think Cecilia's a 4A school, right?
Yeah, they're 4A. Yep.
Yeah, 4A. So they're punching up by a classification. Facing against a defending state champion. They had a high-powered offense last year. And yeah, to go in and pull out a really gutsy performance in a close game is really impressive. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, Alex. We had to start off. I was texting a couple coaches, and Coach Kreamer was ready to go and talk about the win. So right when we got recording, he was jumping on board. So I appreciate that. So what we're going to do, I like to have Alex here because, like myself, Alex likes to talk a whole lot. So while I get to try to contact some coaches, I'm sure he'll fill in the blanks for a lot. So but we're going to go right into it, Alex. If you have any input on anything, feel free to chime in. I'm going to go over a couple of scores. I'm going to share my screen right here. We'll use score stream right here. Let's see how we're testing everything. We're going to see how all this goes, but we're going to deal with it. So, Alex, you can see my screen, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, perfect. So this is a game you're actually going to. You actually helped me call the Episcopal St. Michael game. We'll go into that a little bit. But how about this result? Iowa with a 35-6 win over Jennings. I mean, that is a dominant performance. This was actually really the game of the area. Iowa had a great season last year. You could have made the argument that they could have really been a championship team. So it was a big statement for Iowa because this is a really good Jennings football team. They came to our media day. They returned a lot of guys. You have to replace Rajon Zeno, but quarterback's really talented. And you got a lot of guys to lean on. So that was the game in the area. Iowa, big time state.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, I was planning on going to this game. We had a bit of a change of plans. I'm sure we'll talk about that game later. We were both at that game, the Episcopal and St. Michael's game, and
3 hours.
Michael's, Martinville, Martins, all those M names. Anyway, I got a chance to talk to the head coach at Jennings over the offseason and got a better insight into the team. And so I was really excited for this game because it's a big week 1 matchup in that like Southwest Louisiana sort of sphere in that area. And this is another example of punching up. And we saw this at our game, that the difference in number of kids really matters. And even if one program isn't as prestigious or whatever as the other one, if it's the bigger school, you get a lot more of those out of district games often in this like these early weeks, and you see this really often. There are a lot of games like that this week. So Iowa is one of those district Division III schools. Jennings is a Division II school,
right?
And Jennings got their butt whooped for 4 quarters, 3 times. And so Iowa is making it very clear that they were very close to making it to the Dome last season. They came up just short to Franklinton. And Jennings is a perennial power, even though they got knocked off early last year. They're still a perennial power. And so this is a big statement to show that Iowa is one of those schools that you have to take really seriously going into November when you get into that bracket with Cecilia, aforementioned, who already got knocked off, and Letcher and Franklinton and all these other schools. So huge results. I might be bouncing through schools in my head. They're not punching up, aren't they? They're both Division II. Never mind. Point is, Iowa's a really good school, and they're both really good football teams. But and people had a lot of hype around this game, and Iowa was able to have a very dominant statement victory in this game.
Absolutely, and I believe Coach Johns. I'm actually talking to him right now. I think he might hop on and talk about the win against Jennings. That's a big statement. So we love to have Coach Johns to talk about it. I'm going to go through some other scores as well. You saw Jewel Sumner.
Took care of business.
Took care of business. Sulphur, speaking in that area, Sulphur getting a 13-10 win over St. Louis Catholic. We actually had somebody from Gridiron football cover this football game. Zachery and Plaquemine. Plaquemine is one of the favorites in Division II, non-select, to get compete for state championship
alongside Iowa and Jennings.
Right, exactly. And Zachery, a statement. Everybody was talking this offseason about Catholic, about Central, but like, hey, don't forget about the Z. Don't forget about Zachery. And they put a statement on Plaquemine in week 1.
Yeah, that's about what I expected from this game. Zachery probably separated a little bit more than we would have expected, but Zachary's a really good program. Again, that's a 5A versus 4A school. It's difficult to compete in that situation. Zachary's super prestigious. Plaquemine, made it somewhat competitive, put up a fight, but Zachery separated. That's not super shocking.
Well, speaking of, we just talked about the result about Iowa and Jennings and the big-time win. We're going to add Coach Johns to the conversation. So let's see, I get Coach Johns in here. Coach,
what's going on?
Can you hear us?
Got you.
Awesome, Coach. Awesome. So we're going to talk about the big-time victory for y'all. Actually, Alex with Gridiron football coach, he was actually going to go see y'all play, but he had to help me call a game tonight. So
yeah, he stole me today.
Yeah, I stole him, Coach.
No
So
problem.
yeah, let's talk about the win first of all. Really impressive. I mean, with 35-6, is that correct, Coach?
Yes, sir.
35-6 over Jennings, and Jennings went for media day, Coach, and I was really impressed with Coach Fuselier and the guys he brought in. And he talked about how big of a game it was against Iowa to start the football season.
Right.
For y'all to have a win like that in that fashion, how much of a confidence booster is for this football team to be a really good Jennings team the way y'all did?
I mean, anytime you can beat a team like Jennings and go over there, that was the biggest, concern we had all week. Because we play Jennings every year, and number one, they're difficult to beat no matter where you play them, but especially at their stadium. And they redid their stadium this year, and they reopened it up, tonight. And it's an unbelievable crowd, hell of an atmosphere for high school football, and to come in with a victory, we'll take them any way we can get it.
So yeah, it kind of spoiled the party because I know that was the big unveiling of the stadium and everything. But that's what you the way team to really spoil the party, Coach. But talk about some of the guys. I know there were some key guys from last year's state championship team. Jonathan Walker was a Gridiron Football Player of the Week for us last year. For y'all, a key contributor. Y'all had such a great team last year. But
right.
What about this? What really stood out about tonight as far as what got everything going?
Well, first off, I was very happy with the way our young guys played tonight. We have a lot of guys who right now, especially offensively, who have never played. We had 21 seniors last year, and so we were, concerned, especially up front on offense. 5 of those 6 have never taken a snap before. One of them had to go play last year in the quarterfinal game against Franklin Parish, and that was the only time he had played all year. So if you want to count that as, experience, I mean, it was that's a hard game to have to go play, but it's really only one game, So to come in and have to do this consistently all game, and, the first half was really close. It's 14-6, and we were struggling to move the ball. But, I thought our kids did a really good job. We told them all week it's going to take all 4 quarters. And I thought in the second half we really kind of were able to take over a little bit, and we started moving the ball and gaining confidence as the game went on. And we had 2 big plays, one to Jeremiah Bushnell on a post to kind of break it open. And then right behind that, we hit C.J. Bello, a senior who just actually came back from he's been in the hospital for 2 weeks with meningitis. And it was pretty cool for him. He came back tonight, and then he scored on the screen from about 60 or 70 out. And that kind of broke it open for us. So we just made I think we made some really big plays down the stretch to kind of break it open. But I mean, hats off to Jennings, man. They played really, really well. I mean, I thought they played hard. And to me, it's just a traditional Iowa Jennings football game. It really was. We're just fortunate to make some plays in the second half to kind of pull away.
Right, and I don't think the area that y'all have gets enough credit. I mean, as far as the talent, the football talent that there is in that area, and that was obviously a big game in the area for y'all, and to have a statement like that was really impressive. But was there anything? I mean, I'm sure besides the score, I'm sure you didn't think it would been by that margin. But what was the most surprising thing about tonight?
In all honesty, the way our defense played tonight. Chris Ned, their quarterback, is man, he can kill you with his feet and his arm. And I thought we did a really good job. We were concerned about him all week, and he's got weapons around him. His brother comes in the game, and he can throw it to him. They can run the option with him as a tailback. So they got a lot of options out there. But our kids, I mean, they played their butts off defensively, and the biggest thing was we dropped the snap on a punt down deep in our own territory, and we gave them some life right there in the second quarter, and I was like, here we go, we're going to be in for it. So I'm just proud of our kids for battling back, and told me it's going to be a 4-quarter game, and we played all 4 quarters.
Yeah, completely. Alex, do you have anything you want to ask Coach John just about the win, about the victory, and just the impressive fashion that they were able to do so? Because I know that was a game that you want to cover tonight.
Yeah. What do you think learned about your team from this game that you talked about the defense earlier. Were there any specific players that stood out as like, I wasn't really sure maybe a new starter or something like that, like I wasn't really sure what I was going to get from him today, but he really showed that he was ready for the bright lights?
Well, I'll start with our quarterback, Lawson Broussard. He's an underclassman, the first underclassman we've had in probably 5 years to start at quarterback. And I was really anxious to see, what he was going to do in a true game. We played a jamboree and a scrimmage, and I thought he had a great summer, and he did well the last 2 weeks. But you know how it is. When you get to week one and it's for real, and you're on the road in a hostile environment, the way we were. And he made some critical throws down the stretch to help break this thing open as well. I mean, he made some good plays, and I thought he managed the game well. He protected the football and himself, and for a young quarterback, I thought he did really well. I was very proud of him.
Coach, what was just the overall message in the locker room after the win? Obviously, jubilation, a big time win, and I know, like I said, I'm a coach's son, so I'm running around it. But just the jubilation, to celebrate a hard week of practice and to enjoy. I know Coach set the 24-hour rule, like enjoy the win, let's focus on next week. But just what was the message just overall to the team after the win?
Well, I told them how proud I was of them, especially for their effort, man. I mean, it was relentless effort for all 4 quarters. And that's hard to do. I mean, it is. I know everybody preaches that, but it's especially when early in the year like that, but to do it for 4 straight quarters is tough. It is, especially unless you get, like a 5A team and you got, 120 kids on your roster and you can just rotate guys in and out. 3A, 4A ball with 65, 70 kids on your roster, you're going to have some problems with the depth early on, with the heat and all that type of thing. And I thought our kids handled that part well. But the thing we still have some things we got to get cleaned up, especially late in games with transitioning on special teams when somebody goes down and things of that nature. Those are some areas I was kind of disappointed in this year or this week and tonight that we got to get that part cleaned up. And but those are things that are typical week one as well, though, and you kind of got to expect that. And as the year goes on, you play your way into shape. You can train all you want. You still got to play your way into shape. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, Coach. I know we got another coach on deck, so I appreciate your time, Coach. Coming up, what's the next game coming up for y'all guys?
We have Little Cypress, Mauriceville out of Orange, Texas. They'll be coming to us this year, so another tough opponent coming in.
Absolutely, Coach. Coach, thank you so much for spending a little time with us. I know you're tired. It's a long Friday at school and everything, so I appreciate everything that you helped support me over the years, and I appreciate coming on the show, Coach.
Absolutely, and thank you both for all you do for high school football in our state. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely, Coach. We'll talk soon. Coach Tommy Johns from Iowa, a big win over Jennings once again. And appreciate Coach. We'll see him down the road.
I just want to say, I was looking at something. You know how I was like commending Iowa for punching up and beating Jennings? I actually just got it wrong. Iowa is the 4A school. Jennings is the 3A school. So it was really well done on my end. You can clearly see that I'm giving the analysis that makes Ballin In Da Boot the show that it is.
Well, Alex, we're going to kind of continue the trajectory. We talked to Coach Kreamer. First game, first win against a state championship team, caliber program. We're going to talk to another coach who got his first win in his first game against a championship caliber program, and that's Coach Jimmy Zachery over at Liberty. Coach, first game in the books, a win. Congratulations, Coach. Awesome win over the Southern Lad.
Oh, man, bro. Man, I can't say enough about my guys, man. The players, bro, they played a hell of a game. They executed the game plan. My coaches, man, we put a great game plan together, man, offensively, defensively. And the kids went out and executed it, man. And I'm really proud of those guys riding the ship because I think Southern Lab been beating Liberty for the last 6 years, man. And that's a great ball club over there, man. Coach Asbury does a great job with his kids. They're well coached. They've got some great athletes over there, big old line. For us to go out there and manhandle them like that, man, that says a lot about our ball club.
It really does, Coach. Very impressive win. Like you said, Coach Asbury does a great job with that program, and you know what it's like to run a state championship caliber program at Opelousas. So, I mean, big time win. We visit at media day, and everybody talks about the district that y'all in. I mean, just top heavy and everything. But I think a lot of people are sleeping on this Liberty Magnet football team. Y'all got a lot of great pieces, a lot of talent. And it seems like that y'all really played with a chip on your shoulder
Oh
tonight.
man, and it's like you say, man. I think Liberty is probably one of the slept on team, man. Again, but you know, in order for people to really understand what you have to win and show a better product, man. And again, tonight is one of those nights. We went out there and showed that we can compete with the district that we have, all of the top teams in the state, man. Got a lot of room to grow, man. Of course, this is early. We don't want to hang our head on this one win. This wasn't a championship game for us. We want to continue to get better, man. We're gonna clean it up on film in the morning, and we're gonna get ready for White Castle next week, man.
41-28, correct, Coach, tonight over Southern
Yes,
Line.
sir.
41-20.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about what were some of the keys in this victory. I know we talked about you really high at our media day about your running game and Zayden Foster and your defensive front with Jamie Covington. So I'm sure they played a factor. But tell me about some of the key contributors that allowed y'all to get the win
Oh
tonight.
man, I got to shout out the whole offensive line, man, from the Dylan Colemans to the Harlow Cypress to the Caden Curse, the Aaron Hitchens, the Ruben Kilbarnes, what's my guy, LaRon Butler, man, those guys, Ian Morris, those guys played a hell of a game up front, man. We really dominated the trenches. I don't think they stopped us one time tonight. I think we punted maybe once tonight. Every time we touched the ball, we mowed them down and went down the field, man. You showed a lot of tough, a lot of grit. We didn't have no cramps tonight. That was key. That
Oh,
was big.
wow.
We didn't have nobody. Yeah, we didn't have nobody cramp up tonight, man. I was really proud of that. Of the the shape and the condition we in coming into week one. Uh, and running game, we ran the ball. Zayden Foster, man, he put it on his shoulders tonight and ran. I think he probably was well over 300 yards rushing tonight, man. So and again, Jamie Covington and that defensive front, they held it down, man, because again, Southern Lab has a explosive offense, and if you sleep, they can score real quick, man. Kind of missed a few tackles, missed a few assignments here. But again, man, Coach Asbury and his staff does a great job with those guys over there, man. So we didn't think they wasn't gonna come coached up. They was gonna come ready to play also. They're a championship caliber team, like you said. So man, for our guys to come out, I just gotta shout out the players, man. I gotta shout them out. They came out and they believed in what we did, man. Because take it from me, it ain't easy coming into a program year one to get guys to buy in, especially as senior heavy. To buy in
Right.
to what you got going on, what you selling. And for the most part, those guys brought in and we reaping what we put in.
Absolutely, Coach. Before I let Alex, you have a question, Alex,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Coach?
You talked first off. Congratulations on the win, Coach Tech.
Thanks, man.
It's you hit the nail on the head that like especially Southern Lab. There might be a smaller school, but they're very successful programs. Getting one over them is a big deal. You talked about the first year in a senior heavy program? What do you do in that situation? Because it is kind of a unique dynamic. When you have so many senior leaders, they're there to they kind of
Right,
have this. Who is this new person leading
right.
around? What do you
Again,
do to kind of tackle that situation?
right, and just relate to him from my experience because when I was in high school playing ball, we had like a different coach every year. I had like four different coaches in my 4 years when I was in high school, and I kind of relayed that message to those guys, man. I'm here for y'all, because again, I believe you got to show them that you care to even before you even teach an X and O, and I told them we're a senior heavy, we got a good group. I'm not blowing smoke up nobody, but y'all believe and y'all buy into what we telling y'all and y'all execute the way we telling y'all and y'all fight, y'all put the work in, we're gonna win. And again, those kids, they bought all in and hats off to them because they've been having it's been up and down with the coaches here. So it's like you say, oh man, another coach in. So you could have some seniors just doing their own thing. Like I'm in it for myself. I'm just trying to get me a scholarship out here. I don't care what you're saying, coach. But you probably do that. You probably wouldn't be on my team. I'll cut you for that. But for the most part, man, those guys. Those guys, man, bought in, bro, and I'm proud of those guys, man, because I told them I wanted them to be the group to right the ship over here at Liberty and turn the program around into a winning program again.
Yeah, and that's a great first step. I mean, just a confidence booster, like you mentioned. No matter what classification it is, no matter it's 1A, 2A, doesn't matter. Anytime you be a team with that pedigree, that proven pedigree, it's definitely a confidence booster, coach. And I know Southern Labs got some talent. I know the quarterback Jerry Botley is really talented quarterback. Kitten, so a lot of talent.
They started running that speed option on me, man, and you got to be sound. You got to have a pitch, man. You got to have a quarterback, man, and they started gaining some success with that, man, in the second half, and they was trying to ride him till the wheels fall off. But happily the offense, because they were scoring. They scored. I think they scored almost every drive after half. We were struggling to get stops, man. So again, shout out to the coaches, man, coming out with the adjustment, seeing things. We made the adjustment, and shout out to the defense because they could have hung their head and just tapped. After giving up a score, and you got to hear my mouth when y'all come to the sideline. But we made a stop when we made the stops when we needed them. And again, bro, I can't say enough about the players, man. They rose to the occasion tonight.
We got two more questions, Coach. That's pretty much we'll let you go. Talk about the fans. Just talk about just the energy in Olympia, the fans, and then support y'all.
Well, man, it was a nice crowd, man. It was a nice crowd, and the fans, the parents, and the fans, they want a winner. They want this program to be successful, and they want to believe in something, man. And I was just so happy that we can come out and give them a product that they can come watch. Okay, we got a good team to get behind, and it only goes up from here, man. And hopefully we can keep building that fan base, building that alumni base to come back and give them something to come watch. Because again, winning solves all that. When you start winning ball games and you're putting a better product on the field, and the buzz get out there, like these guys are really being coached well and coached right. They're playing it the right way. We playing physical. We playing tough. People gonna want to come see some good football, man. And I'm just so happy that we gave the fans a good showing tonight. And shout out to the fans because they packed the house tonight.
Right, and you did it, Coach, with the style that you want to play. I mean, running the football with Zayden, you always had to get back with Deshaun backing up, and defense stepping up and making some plays. Alex, do you have anything with Coach Zachery before I wrap it up with Coach?
No.
Okay, good. Perfect, Coach. What's on the horizon for y'all next week? I know.
Well, we
24 hours.
Come on now. Nick Saban said best. Enjoy tonight. Tomorrow we on the White Castle, baby. We trying to put a game plan together and get ready for those guys, man. Again, you don't want to take no opponent lightly because the minute you start getting the big head, that's when you get the air let out your head. So we want to stay focused and stay grounded, man, and stay humble, man, but hungry at the same time.
Absolutely, Coach. Coach, game number one, win number one, 1-0 record at Liberty. So that sounds good to me.
Yes, sir.
Coach, congratulations on the victory, and looking forward to catching you up with you throughout the course of the
year.
year.
Hey, one more thing before I get off. Shout out my administration, Mr. Watson, Miss Stanny, Miss Clater, Miss Davenport, Coach Mr. Schoaf, Coach Felder. Go shout out all my staff, my administrators, man. They was out there supporting, man. They love the kids, man. We got a great staff here, man. Shout out Liberty, man. We up.
Absolutely, y'all are, Coach. Coach, appreciate your time and congratulations on the win. Takes a village, and I know the village showed up.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Absolutely, Coach. Coach Zachery, winning head coach in his first game at Liberty. All right, so yeah, we got a couple coaches. So we already talked to three of them, Alex, and we haven't gone to a lot of scores yet. So appreciate all these coaches for chiming. And we really appreciate the support. All these three coaches have been proud supporters of what we do at Gridiron Football, and we want to recognize them when they have a big win. Obviously, give them some love to the team. All right, we're going to go into some of the scores as well. I think we were talking about the Zachery win last time, 52-28, big statement win for Blackman.
Yeah, big win for Zachery, but Blackman hung with them, so that's we can kind of pick up after that.
Yeah, for sure. Pearl River gets a 34-16 win over St. Martin's Episcopal.
Could you show the scores again?
Oh yeah. See, that's what I said, Alex. We got to. There's a lot of things you got to do with the director being the director. I'm not used to being a director, so Yeah, it's kind of like on the fly, getting used to everything.
You need one of those things. Cut.
Yeah. Take two. But
Take two.
Pearl River gets a win over the Harlem-Berry less St. Martin Episcopal Saints. So Harlem-Berry doing his thing at LSU now. Benjamin Franklin gets a 14-6 win over Crescent City. Peabody, they start.
Hey, new coach.
Yeah, new coach as well. It's a good day so far. Good night for first year coaches. We already had
New
two
blood.
of them being 1-0 start. So Peabody a 33-10 win over LaGrange. Homa Christian 48-0 win over Highland Baptist.
Homa Christian's cooking something. They're growing. That's a young program. I got a chance to talk to their coach during this offseason. That's a growing program. It's a good start for them.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Livonia, Coach Queel Thomas, former Catholic High Bear. Got to give a shout out to my Catholic High Bears, 26-7 win over East Jefferson. How about this? How about Madison Prep getting a win over 5A Dutchtown, 48-41. What a win for Coach Williams and the Chargers. I know U High's still there, but I really like this Madison Prep football team as a possible favorite in that Division II select state championship running. So they're definitely a team to keep an eye out for. And yeah, I mean, to win against a really good Dutchtown team, that was an impressive win by Coach Williams.
Dutchtown hasn't lost to a team not named Walker in like ages. And this is a really good football team, really good program, a 5A school. And Madison Prep's a 3A school right now. And for Madison Prep to knock off that team, it's crazy. Yeah, I would go as far as to say, U High's U High. I don't know. But, like, Madison Prep knocked U High off last year. No one really saw that one coming. I mean, people thought it would be competitive, but that was kind of surprising. So, Shaw doesn't have quite the same loading of senior talent they had last season. So yeah, this Madison Prep I think has to be seen as one of the favorites in that bracket going into this year. Absolutely. This is I have the exact same takeaway from the score as you do, and I am a little surprised by it. But this Madison Prep team is awesome.
Yeah, and they've been used to playing 5A competition to start the season in non-district, and this was this was a really big win for what they want to do. Marksville got a big win tonight, 41-14. And then you're going to see the machine, and the car, 35-0 over Archbishop Shaw, the defending state champion. So a battle of two defending state champions, and the car gets a 35-0 win. A lot of people saying that they are the best team in Louisiana high school football. They're going to prove
until someone proves them otherwise.
Right. We're going to prove. Next week is kind of like a battle of the states, right? They got American Heritage next week in the Dome, but Shaw. They're still going to be a good team this year, and they just have to replace a whole lot from that state championship team a year ago.
Losing by 35 to Edna Carr tells us nothing about Shaw this year. They might still be the best team in Division II Select for all we know. I mean, we don't know. I would favor Madison Prep and U High right now personally. But Shaw's going to be in that conversation, of course. They're the defending state champions for a reason. Getting blown out by Carr doesn't say anything. Everyone gets blown out by Carr. That it's fine.
Right. Exactly. Let's see here, Alex. If you see any coaches coming in, just let me know because I'm on the other tab. So I'm not sure if you.
Okay. I will. If I see someone, I will let you know.
Okay.
I will try to keep that in mind.
So Westminster Christian. Now this is a team to keep an eye on as well. Stephen George comes up as a
that score. Holy cow!
2-0. Westminster Christian. They keep getting better every single year. That's a team to keep an eye out for. And Westminster Christian Opelousas. We got the one in Lafayette. This is the one in Opelousas. For sure. Now I'm not sure if this is totally updated. It says fourth quarter. It's 34-32. Young Audiences Charter against West St. John. Maybe you can get an update on that if you can, Alex. If not, Okay. Well, I mean,
I'll see what I can find. Yeah, I'll see what I can find.
Yeah. Well, I'll move ahead.
That score is final. That score is final.
Score is final. Okay, appreciate it, Alex. 34-32, final score. Yeah, that's a big win for Young Onions of Charter because West St. John's kind of on the coming up after it's been a kind of a rough couple of years for them, but that is a big win for Young Onions of Charter. Let's see, Richwood, JT. How about Coach James Taylor or Gridiron football coach? He's a defensive coordinator over there at Richwood, and they get a big win over West Washington, 20-15. Very impressive for the Richwood Rams to get a win. Shout out to Coach JT. Kinder gets a 36-32 win over Welsh. Sterlington, a high-scoring affair. I'm talking to Tioga and their coach.
Defending state champion.
Yeah, they're going to score some points. Now, they're going to give up a lot of points, but they're going to score some points. And Sterlington is the defending state champions, and this is definitely a team. Coach Dottie, I mean, yeah, they're going to be in the hunt once again. Of course, the game that we called is actually 41-21.
Yeah, not correct on here.
Yeah, not correct on the score stream here, but we both were at this game. We both covered it. So St. Michael, controlled the game, start to finish. CJ Livingston, 3 turnovers, kind of had his honey badger performance. Pistol had some big splash plays, but just could not. It seemed like they were like a step behind St. Michael the entire game.
Yeah, obviously, you'll see Episcopal a lot throughout the season. You'll be calling games for them, so you'll get to see what this means for them. I'll focus, I guess, a little more on what this means for St. Michael. They're in an interesting district. Plaquemines going to be the big favorite, but one thing I'm interested in, I wonder if they get Plaquemine at home this year.
Yeah.
Because if they do, that atmosphere could be electric. Because I think last year they finished second in the division. I might be wrong. Let me check. They did not finish second in the division. Never mind. They finished behind Bruley and West Feliciana and Estruma. So there's some pack in that district. Excuse me. But those district games against like real competition at home are going to be some interesting home games because St. Michael's they got some speed. They've got a lot of speed on that team. They have lateral speed on defense. They pursue the ball really well. They're fundamentally sound. They play clean football, and they've got some playmakers at those skill positions on offense. The Livingston brothers are very fun to watch. Boogie Livingston was a highlight reel on 3rd and long all day long under center. Johnny McCarty was great as their main wide receiver pass catching option. And then the player of the game, and I think someone will probably talk about again at the in the Gridiron Football Player of the Week conversation, is CJ Livingston with 3 full turnovers during the game, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, and a pick with like a long return. He looked awesome all day long.
Yeah, he certainly did. Big win for St. Michael, 41-21. Where he talked to Coach Kreamer. So 34-29, where he talked to him, and a big win.
There is someone in the chat, I think.
All right, perfect. Let's see who we got here. Coach Landry Williams. We're going to get Madison Prep. So let's go to Madison Prep right here. Coach Williams, how's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good.
I would say so.
Got the first dub. Hey, it wasn't the prettiest win, but I take it.
Hey, a win's a win. It can be 2-0. It does not matter. I'm taking that.
Especially against that kind of team.
What's the saying, Coach? A pretty ugly
pretty
win
is better than an ugly loss. Yes, sir.
So, Coach, you've always been not shy about scheduling tough competition non-district, because I know that's the goal for y'all to win state championships by the end of it. But y'all face off against a really tough. You know, we're going to get Coach Mistretta in Dutchtown, and it's a tough game, tough opponent, 5A. What did you learn most about your team tonight with a win like that?
I really feel like we could play against anybody offensively up front and defensively up front, but we just made a lot of mental errors, and we just didn't close the ball game out in the proper fashion. But that's something that we can work on. It's been a while since I had a first week 1 win since I've been here. I would get that
that's
win
right.
for a couple of weeks. So to get one, I think the last first week win I had was against St. Thomas More. I think
Yeah.
something like
Was
that.
that,
So it was.
Was that Zion and Walker
Yeah,
Howard?
that was Dion. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
So
that
that
was
was
an
a
interesting
long
game.
time since I had a week 1 because I try to play a tough schedule. So I usually don't get a win until like at least about 3 or 4 weeks in. Everybody like, what the hell are you doing? Why you keep scheduling these guys? But
and
I like
then
the
you go on and you
competition.
win like
It
6
brings
games
the
in a row.
best out in us. It brings the best out in us. It kind of put us in a situation that you have to fight early, and you get a chance to really learn something about yourself and your team and your coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the prettiest thing. It's not a popular thing, but I enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very fun ride, high scoring, kind of like what that St. Thomas More Madison Prep game
Yeah,
was.
shootout.
A shootout. So talk about your quarterback. I mean, I know you go from one brother to the other one, and he's going to be really special. And we talked about in the spring about your offensive line and that you're going to lean on them a whole lot this year with the running game. So talk about how the offense performed as a whole tonight.
I think we ran the ball real well. Last year I think we ran the ball well, but we just couldn't get it. He just couldn't get it in his end zone. So this year we was able to get it in. Landon, he played a great game tonight. I think he threw for maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns. Ran for 1 or 2. I can't even keep up. We had an interception. So he did it. He had a great night tonight. He should be sleeping good tonight.
I would. I mean, Landon's a really talented player, and it's not often you go from one legend in Thailand and then go to another guy like Landon and say, "Yep, we're all right. We're pretty good back there."
Yeah. But it's great. I enjoy it. I just like the competition of it all. What you doing? You know what I'm saying? I don't mind putting it on the line. It rips my heart out when I lose, but I still just like the challenge of it all and the opportunity just to make it have fun, make the season fun. I like running the football because if you can run it early, when it get cold in November, late November, early, if you can win. Usually teams win by running the football when it's cold. So I kind of like a old stickler for me growing up with some old guys. They kind of taught me, hey, this is what you do to win. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to run the football in November and December if you want to win a championship. So I kind of
right.
I try to hang my hat on that.
Yep. I love how you get ready in November and December to play in the cold, and it gets cold down here around that time, and then you prepare to play that cold weather style of football, and then the championship game's in a dome.
Right. But you got to go through it. I mean, that's one of those things that you got to go through it to get to the dome.
Yeah,
It just so happen to be cold on those last 2 weeks that you need to get in. I mean, have you didn't played at some temperature before where it's like 20-some degrees? It's like, man, but that's what it takes. That's what it takes to get there. Just make the victory even sweeter if you're able and fortunate enough to make it.
Yeah, I remember having I was at the Neville Central game last year up in Monroe, and that was exactly how it felt. It was probably 40 degrees out there, 31 degrees, whatever. And I'm like, can I steal your space heater? I'm just standing on the sideline, but can I? So no, it's the Superdome might be air conditioned or whatever, but it's a treacherous road.
Yeah, I was up there in Sterlington one year. Man, it was freezing. It was like 20-some degrees one night. I was like, man, what happened in North Louisiana? Rough battle, But controversial call at the end. But man, I remember it was freezing cold. But that's the route you had to take in order to get to the championship. It was freezing cold, but yeah, it's nice being able to run the football. You can open up your passing game, and it's just something that it takes the will of a team too. You know, I done had it where they just ripped my heart out. Ain't nothing I can do to stop the doggone run. So to be able to do it is it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for sure, Coach. Alex, you have any questions for Coach?
Yeah. First off, I just want to introduce myself, and I want to say congratulations. Obviously, it's a huge win, and being able to knock. You said you schedule these really tough opponents each season. You usually come short. You talked about the game being kind of sloppy and there being some mistakes towards the end. Could you take us through that? We didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I know you ended up coming up. But was there some kind of comeback they were able to hold off, or was there something weird that happened at the end?
Well,
and how were you guys able to pull through anyway?
I'm not going to take anything from Dutchtown. Now they fought to the end. It was a couple opportunities that we needed the defense to just, if they could have hold, then we were able to run the clock out, but they ended up scoring, which made us push to another gear. And it was a wild one. Like, we had a chance to score. We got to the red zone a couple times and backed out, turned the ball over, or wasn't able to get it in. And they could kind of relate, gave them an opportunity to score. So it was time. We were up 20 points. I was like, okay. But again, Dutchtown, they're no strangers to playing tough, hard-nosed football. And they play a tough schedule each and every year in that 5A district they're in with Catholic High and Zachery and all that. So they're used to it as well. So it was a dogfight at the end. I would like to be able to put it away, in grand fashion, but Dutchtown had something to say about that, and it didn't go that way. But we went back and forth to the end, and they played it out. We missed some plays. They made some plays that we missed some plays that we needed to make in order to close the game out, and they did it in order to extend the game. So, hey, ugly wins better than a pretty loss. So I take it, and just get ready for Mandeville next week.
Absolutely, man. Mandeville. The hits don't stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, as much as a statement, and this was a huge statement regardless. I mean, any win, you said it, a win's a win, an ugly win's better than a pretty loss. But yeah, any kind of win. But the statement would have been if you had actually maintained that lead and not just beat Dutchtown by 20. I mean, yeah, that would have. This was still that would have been a headline. This is still important though. This is still a big deal.
Right. No, take away. My guys work hard. They earned it. You know what I'm saying? It was a way where we could have really, pretty, made a statement. But I'm not taking anything away from my guys. It's some things that we need to clean up. But I'm happy the way we played. We came out fighting. And again. They're a 5A team. They used to battle like this all the time, so they rebounded like I thought they would. It wasn't no early celebrations at all. Trust me.
Yeah, right. And Coach, you have a lot of guys. A lot of core pieces. I mean, I know you lose a couple tough guys. I mean, really good players in the backfield, and quarterback and running back last year. But I mean, you do have a great playmaker in Keon. I mean, one of the best receivers out there.
Yeah.
You have a guy in the back end. And Javen Holmes, who's special. You don't see a lot of guys in high school football built like that, roaming around in the secondary. So, how are those guys been like?
Keon, man, I'm telling you, Keon is a warrior. People don't realize how strong he is and how hard he is to get down until you try to tackle him. He don't go down easy. Yeah. He do not go down easy. He's gonna fight you. He's high. He's really confident. He got nice, strong hands. He run good routes. And people underestimate his size and his strength. But, hey, I like it. Hey, they want to underestimate him. I take it. But he made some big plays tonight where a guy just couldn't get him down. He just wasn't willing to go down, and he didn't. So, just continue to have that kind of – you need plays like that. That kind of performance in order, playing the schedule that we have. We need some guys, to play above themselves, play outside their body, and Landon did that tonight. He put us in a position to be victorious tonight. And the guy Keon played well. The defensive front, they played well, but we gave up some plays that we shouldn't have. And when we watch film on it tomorrow, in the weekend, and they're going to see man, we can really, this thing can really be special if we just continue to work hard and have the right discipline and mindset each and every week, we can make I think we can make a quality run at a state championship.
Yeah, I got one more question, and we will leave you be, Coach. I know you been a long night for sure
Right.
for you, Coach. But my last one, I mean, you talked about really the expectations. I mean, to win against a 5A team has been a team 2 years ago was in the semis in the 5A level in Dutchtown, and we're a couple plays away from state championships.
Right.
But yeah, how confident are you in this group? And you won a state championship. You know what it's like to be a part of your state. What about this year's team? This mental makeup. Not only that this win that you feel pretty good about, but knowing that hey, like the win was good and all against a 5A team, but we could have performed better. So what's basically how special is this team just from your time being?
I think this game can really be special. We got a lot of guys that they're 4-year starters. They've been through the tough times with me. They, coming to me playing as a freshman and playing with my kind of schedule. It ain't for the faint at heart. You know what I'm saying? So those guys that have endured, they have endured that. They're used to, my coaching style and, the things I kind of put them, the challenges that I put before them. I think this is a real special group. Again, we're big in the trenches. We're hard to move on both sides of the ball. The quarterback play, we can get continue this kind of performance at the quarterback position and grow my defensive backs up. I mean, this is probably one of the most vulnerable defensive back crew I had since I've been here. So I think if we able to grow those guys in the secondary, I really like my chances.
Oh, absolutely, Coach. I know you're. Looks like you're in the coach's office and everything. Still putting the work in after the win, huh?
Putting a little work on the way out.
Absolutely, Coach. Coach, appreciate your time. Go enjoy the rest of your night.
Hey, guys.
Enjoy the win. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Coach. Coach Landry Williams has the Madison Prep Chargers get a win tonight. So, congratulations to Coach, and we'll see y'all down the road. But big win for Landry, for Coach Williams and Madison Prep over Dutchtown. So that was a statement win for sure. Alex, and talk about some of the other scores kind of around the state. We'll be here probably for another 30 minutes or so before we wrap stuff up. St. John.
Are we expecting any more guests?
I text one or two guys. If they hop on, they'll hop on.
Okay.
But if not, we'll spend the rest of the time going over scores. I tried kind of looking at some of the main score takeaways that, big wins. I'll try to text those coaches and see if they hop on. If not, no big deal. We've already had a lot of coaches already. We've had like 4 coaches already. So, let's go. I want to actually go back to the scores.
Yeah, let's go back to
the scores for sure. My dad actually helps out at St. John, kind of like an offensive analyst or kind of role over there for the Eagles.
Senior offensive assistant, as the NFL
term goes. Yeah, I guess you can call him that. But the Eagles get a big win, 36-19 over Hanson Memorial. So I'm definitely going to talk to him tomorrow. So might as well talk about the Eagles getting a big win tomorrow. Looks like the high scoring affair it continues with St. Edmund.
That offense pours it on sometimes.
That's continuing with Coach Shiver. So St. Edmund gets 58-28 win over Elton. And Elton's
not a bad team either. They won a playoff game last year. They won 7 games. They were a decent team.
Moore's a really good back. Jalen Thomas is my player in our bowl game. They're on the uprise. And for St. Edmunds being my 30, I know Coach Shiver was really high on his team in the offseason, even after all the pieces they've lost from last year.
Yeah, and there's no Jonathan Dartez in this bracket anymore to shred everybody. So maybe there's that was the only worry with St. Edmund last year. The problem they ran into is they ran into that Vermilion Catholic buzzsaw, and it was like there's only so much you can. They were a really good team, but I don't know if the ceiling of that bracket's quite as high this year. And so I think St. Edmund, if St. Edmund's even better than they were last year, then I think they could be a real contender. And that could be really a lot of fun to follow.
How about Notre Dame? How about Louis Cook and the Pios? They get a 35-28 win over Southside Jess Curtis. I would say it's a little bit of a mini upset there for Notre Dame to get a win over Southside like that, 35-28.
Yes.
I mean, Southside's a team on the rise, 5A level, and a big win for Notre Dame. So I know we visit with their seniors this year. Bryce Duhan is a guy that we cover a whole lot. From Notre Dame. So a big win starting off for the Pios.
Huge win. That's I talked about erroneously earlier, but actually more accurately now talking about the that gap. A 2A team knocking off like a good 5A team, a really good 5A. Southside's like a legit 5A team. That's really impressive. Really, really impressive. So yeah, and that tells you a lot about what Notre Dame's going to be in their own bracket, which is also a really competitive bracket in its own right, and that district where they have to play LCA and stuff. Notre Dame's going to be a force if they can do that in week 1.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you got Louis Cook coaching, you got a chance because you know they're going to be coaching in the right position to succeed. Liberty Manning, we just talked to Coach Zachery, getting a win over Southern Lab, 41-28. Thibodeau, I mean, this continues, Alex. I mean, I don't know about these first games, but like these first game coaches are winning. So I mean, another one that's kind of a big thing. Lowell Narcisse, who was the head coach at Ascension Catholic, is the head coach at Thibodeau, the former LSU quarterback, and he starts it off with a 21-14 win, and South Lafourche got some guys. I mean,
South Lafourche holding that South Lafourche offense to 14 points says something about that Thibodeau secondary. That I know it's like 5A versus 4A or whatever, but like that South Lafourche aerial attack is really fun this year. They got some really good wide receivers. They got a great quarterback. I'm gonna need to see them play at some point against like Vanderbilt White or something. That's a fun team, and so to hold them that low scoring is impressive.
A team to watch out for this year, Solar Chart. This is a team that at that level, Division 4 or Division 3 select is around one of the two. Off the top of my head, like they're going to be dangerous. They get better every kind of a young team, kind of like Westminster and Opelousas, a team on the rise, a program on the rise, and they get a big win over Varno, 43-0. JFK gets a win over Scotlandville, 19-0. How about this high-scoring affair? Sam Houston getting a 44-35 win over Leesville. I talked about St. Martin's Episcopal without Harlem Berry now, and it's Leesville without Xavier Ford now. So, but it looks like Leesville can still put some points up on the board. I mean, 35, but give up 44 to Sam Houston. That's kind of the thing there. Let's see. Moving on. We're going to talk about
gave Mandeville a game.
Yeah, Mandeville, Salmon, 38-25. And this is one of the biggest shockers of Friday night.
Yeah.
Acadiana, 49-7 in one of the most shocking scores in week 1. Ruston getting a big win like that, man, we knew how good they were this year, and their team that go back to the Superdome and win, but to win in that fashion, Acadiana still good. It's not like they slacking off or anything down there at Acadiana, but to get a win by 42, what a statement by Coach Ball and the Bearcats.
Yeah, I mean, Ruston was probably, and not that there are spreads for these games or anything, but if there were, Ruston probably would have been favored to win this game.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between winning a game by 7 or winning a game by 12 and winning a game by 42 points. That's a crazy outcome. I wonder if Ruston had to endure 6 months of hearing about Central demolishing them in the Superdome last year. And they're a bit more motivated going into this season, and that's a scary thing because it's not like Ruston was bad last year. They were fantastic last year, and they went to the Superdome in Division 1 for a reason. And if they're on a mission like this, it'll be tough to pick against them. They were tough to pick against last year. I did, and they'll be tough to pick against again.
Well, I guess it didn't go well for all of the first game coaches. Doug Dotson, if you go to Acadiana, you go to their stadium, it's Bill Dotson Stadium. This is his son, Doug Dotson. So a former Acadiana quarterback, longtime coach. He comes back to lead Acadiana, and they're going to be just fine. I know people are kind of like 49-7, but that Ruston football team they're up there. I mean, top 2 or 3 team in the state. So huge win, one of the biggest statements by far. Louisiana high school football, 49-7. How about this? We talked about this game before our game tonight. But Terrebonne gets a 24-13 win over Riverside. Riverside's got a really good offense, a lot of playmakers, returning quarterback. Terrebonne's got a lot of weapons too offensively. I was kind of surprised it was this low scoring. I thought it'd be a little bit more higher scoring.
Terrebonne had some. Terrebonne looked really good defensively in their spring game against McDonough 35. I was at that game back in March or April, whatever, or May, whatever time it was in the spring. And that doesn't shock me that much. It's a good defense. It's important to remember this is a 1A versus 5A game. Yeah, so I'm actually more proud of Riverside for keeping this as competitive as it was, especially like if you're going to tell me Riverside played Terrebonne and scored 13 points, I'm going to be like, okay, they lost 51-13. Usually that's how these games go. One of my favorite examples of this is last year Southern Lab, defending state champions, played St. Augustine, a decent Catholic League team, but not like a world beater or anything, and they got slaughtered. Like that's usually what this looks like. Riverside's a really good football team, but Terrebonne's like a solid 5A team, and that's just such a huge difference. And for Riverside to hang in there and keep the game competitive, keep the score relatively close. Obviously, we didn't watch the game; we don't know what it really looked like. The box score doesn't tell the whole story, but that's meaningful. That is really meaningful.
Yeah, it really is, and I think that's kind of what I'm surprised about the most was Riverside holding Terrebonne to 24, and then like you said, this is a team I won district last year in a tough district. Terrebonne did last year, so I guess there's no such thing as moral victories, but 1A to 5A. I mean that's
well in the PowerPoint system there kind of are.
There kind of is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess you're right, but it does feel like a moral victory. I mean. Still, Terrebonne, I think it was a win-win for both teams. Terrebonne gets a win. Riverside is going to be a team that's going to win a lot of games, so that's going to help them with the PowerPoints. Riverside, good measuring stick for you. Obviously, gets a really good 5A team, and I think it's good for both teams overall. Okay, let's move on. Rain and Beauchene. It says fourth quarter, but we're going to say Rain with a 37 win. How about the West Side rivalry, Burley and Port Allen? How about Burley making the statement? I tell you what, Alex, it doesn't matter how many games you win at Burley. It doesn't matter how many games you win at Port Allen. The main question, did you beat Port Allen? Did you beat Burley? And that's how big this rivalry is around here. And Burley at bragging rights for a whole year, 42-6 win over the Port Allen Pelicans. One of the most underrated rivalries in the state. How about Walker? I mean, in a squeaker, 27-26 final score over Ponchatoula. The Willow School with a 48-8 win over Ascension Christian.
Another school I got to talk to this summer, the Willow School. I really think they're moving in the right direction. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on behind the scenes with that school, and they were wrecked by COVID in Ida, and so they're still in that rebuild. They used to be called Lusher, of course, and yeah, I like the direction that team's going. Ascension Christian is. Whatever they put it, getting to blow out a team is like that. That's a good first step. Well, I think that school is moving in the right direction. Certainly.
We got the Battle of the Jesuits.
The Jesuit off.
And Jesuit in Dallas, and it says delayed third quarter. I guess it was some, but I think I saw a score update that game did go final.
Yes, it got called. Yeah, it got called final. I think it must have. Had lightning delay or something, and they
Yeah, it's the final, 31-6. So that is your final score with Jesuit. New Orleans getting a win over Jesuit Dallas. So bragging rights for Louisiana there.
The most Jesuit team in the country.
There you go. McKinley gets a 20-18 win over Capital. And Bunky cut off the season with a 42-0 win over St. Mary. So everybody's wondering.
I thought they were Kyle Johnson and Dylan Compton merchants.
Yeah. At media day, like talking to them and seeing them in person, like they're going to be just fine. I mean, I know those are two big losses, obviously.
I mean, look. Let's also like temper things. It's a tough bracket, really, really loaded bracket, really good teams. Making a run to the semifinals like they did last year is tough. Replicating that's going to be hard. But are they going to be good again? Yes. Will they be competitive in their district with Gina? Yes. Will they have a chance to make a deep run? Yes. All of those things are true. So, like, it's still a really good football team.
Brother Martin getting a big win over the all-star coaching staff of East Ascension. If everybody knows about East Ascension, Brock Mathern, the head coach. Your OC is the state championship head coach at Cecilia, and Dennis Gaines. He's a defensive coordinator. And Dane Shaponche, who's been the longtime coach at Turnings Catholic, is your offensive coordinator. So pretty all-star coaching staff right there. But Brother Martin, representing the Catholic League, gets a 29-22 win over East Ascension. Brother Martin's a good team in the Catholic League. East Ascension, a measuring stick type of game, and see where they're at with this new coaching staff. But good game, 29-22 with Brother Martin getting the win.
Yeah, we'll see what this team looks like. It's an all-star coaching staff, and it's a really good roster. Jason Blackburn, they have a LT commit at lineman. This should be a really good team on paper. So far, the results have been sort of interesting. Now, this game was I checked this in the middle of the game. This game was tied at 22 in the fourth quarter. So this was a really close game down the stretch. Brother Martin is able to get that go-ahead score to win the game. But I will say, starting the season with a loss is like, you might want to, like, I thought they were going to be world beaters or whatever. Well, that's not necessarily how this works. This isn't a 1-year window, I assume. First off, it's the first year with all these new coaches. So like, it's the first game. So calm down. Secondly, Brother Martin's a really good team in the Catholic League. Like, they're a Catholic League team that is your typical Catholic League team. They'll probably be really good this year. They'll probably be one of those teams that is dangerous to make a run in the bracket, in the playoffs once you get there. So, like, EA being competitive with them means a lot. And so we'll, Dutch, this isn't to throw shade at Madison Prep for the record. Madison Prep's a great team. We just talked to their coach.
Right.
Awesome team. Dutchtown just lost to a 3A team in that district. That's the team that just won your district this year. So let's start with that. If you're thinking about the goals for EA this season, let's just start with that. That's a winnable district.
It's been a crazy district. That's always been a crazy district.
That's a winnable district. This is step one. You didn't win the game, but you showed that you were competitive with a Catholic League team. That's a big step, and this team might make big improvements throughout the year, like well-coached teams tend to do. And we'll see what they do once they get to the playoffs, and we'll see what they can do competing in that district. It'll be interesting.
Broadmoor, Yasin Sarah, and Broadmoor Bucks get a 14-8 win over Springfield. So that's a big win for Coach Sarah and Broadmoor to get a win like that. So huge kudos to Coach Sarah and the Buccaneers getting started off the season with the win. How about Franklinton? They're saying, how about like that state championship runner-up finish? Like us going to the Dome, like that whole Cinderella story last year. Yeah, it's got another chapter. It's starting off in another chapter, and that is
Cinderella story in quotes for the 1 seed. But yes,
right. Yeah, I mean, Coach Salt was pretty animate about that. Like, hey, we still after a big win over Jules Sumner, I was like, hey, we haven't. We should be number one. We should be number one in the power rankings, and they were number one. And then when they go to the Dome to play Cecilia, like, we're the number 1 seed and we're not the favorite. So, I mean, kind of playing that disrespect card. But Amy, we all know the pedigree about that program and how good that program is. And for Franklinton, make a statement. You get Jacob Crane back as your quarterback. Still really a lot of good talent there on the offense and the skill position. So big win, a statement win for Coach Salt and the Demons.
Yeah, absolutely. Franklinton, it was a really fun team to watch. They almost knocked off Cecilia in one of the best state championship games of the weekend last year. That game was fantastic, and they looked really rickety during spring football against Hammond this past May. We were both at that game, and I personally had some concerns, and a lot of those concerns alleviated by going in and clearly, definitively defeating a really good A-Meet team. Again, in both games, you can talk about the difference. Franklinton, being the slightly, they're a Division II team, A-Meet's Division III. But, and same thing with the Hammond game, right? Hammond's a 5A school. But, it's still A-Meet. A-Meet's a really good program, a team that was the first sign of Bunkie last year, of Bunkie being a legit program. Because a lot of people thought A-Meet, the more well-established program, was going to knock off Bunkie when they got the chance in the round of 16, in the second round. And then Bunkie just mowed past them. And they're like, no, this is a contender. This is a real contender, guys. We're being serious. So A-Meet's a very well-respected program. And so for Franklinton to handle them the way they did is impressive. And Franklinton's got another path in a very competitive division to get back to the Dome potentially.
Yeah, and it's a good start with a win over A-Meet. Pickering gets a 56-14 win over Dayton. We have Riverdale getting a 50-21 win over Patrick Taylor. Washita Christian a 60-14 win over Caldwell Parish.
Do be like that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean OCS.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in it. They're gonna be in the running.
They almost won the state title last year. I talked about the Vermilion Catholic team as a buzzsaw, and they almost lost to Washita Christian in the Dome. So yeah, that Washita Christian team's just really good every year.
Benton gets a 36-6 win over Oberlin. Sacred Heart a 32-0 win over Oakdale. Northwood of Shreveport gets a 49-16 win over Benton.
Ziegler, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know there. Talented quarterback for Benton is Malachi Ziegler. Not surprised by the wide margin there by 33, but good win, definitely for Coach Brown and the Falcons to get a 49-16 win. Let's see, Northside gets a 49-8 win over Ville Platte. Hannon gets a 14-13 win over North Lake Christian. That is who Episcopal.
Yeah, I was going to say the
week. Yeah. So big win for Archbishop Hannon to start off. They had one win or two wins. They had 2 wins last year. One in the regular season.
Yeah.
So they've already met their total for last year.
That's my thought too. They already met the regular season win total. You can't. I mean, they came close to having more postseason wins than regular season wins last year, which would have been hilarious. But much better start to the season. But we'll see. That's one of those games that's a check back game. We'll see what that means, and you'll get a firsthand view of what that means. If Episcopal goes out and beats North Lake Christian by 20 or whatever, then it kind of tells us a lot about maybe what we have in North Lake Christian this year. But if that game's really competitive, then maybe that teaches us a lot about Hannon. That Hannon's kind of making a return to being a more interesting team this year instead of they had that shocking upset in the playoffs, but they were 1-9 in the regular season. So we'll see what this means.
How about this?
I don't know, man.
That was a shocker too. I mean, that kind of goes in that Acadiana, Ruston deal too. But 46-3. I did not see this coming. I mean, North DeSoto, obviously a really talented offense. Got Luke Delafield back again, and they're talented offense doing what Coach Dennis Dunn's going to do. But to win by 43 against Union Parish, I did not see that one coming, especially a tough, hard-nosed Coach Spatafora Union Parish football team. Did not.
I don't know if I would bet on the Saints to beat Union Parish by 43. I mean, Good Lord.
You're probably right about that.
No, but yeah, that's crazy.
Pineville. How about Justin Charles?
Hey.
Yeah, Justin Charles starting off the Pineville hit the air over there with a 44-26 win over New Iberia. Trying to get a couple more scores in. Let's see here. It's the magic of doing things live. Okay, here we go. A few more high schools. Tina.
Oh my goodness. Is that a basketball score?
No, it's not a basketball score, Alex. That is a football score. 64-48. And yeah, keep in mind, me and Alex, we call the game, so we've seen a lot of these scores we're seeing for the very first time.
Yeah, I haven't seen all these scores for the first time.
64-48. So hopefully you pick the over. Wow. 64-48. Gina with a big win over Mangum. I mean, that's an underrated matchup in the state. Both these two teams are going to be deep playoff caliber teams. So
Mangum's a bit smaller, but 64 points. So
yeah,
funny.
not by much. I mean, you got what is that 2A, and 3A. So
is Mangum a 2A school? I know Mangum's in. I know they're Division 3 and Division 4. So
yeah, I think they're 2A. So
2A.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Mangum is 2A. Yeah, you're right. And Gina's definitely 3A. So yeah, it's not a big difference, though. You're right. It's not a big difference. Yeah,
how about Slidell getting a win?
Yeah, that also popped to the screen.
Yeah,
Letcher getting knocked off in week 1's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's a little bit surprise there for the Letcher Bulldogs, but
well, yeah, Letcher's generally respected to be one of the best 4A programs in the state, and so
yeah,
Slidell's not seen as one of the best 5A programs in the state. Wow, yeah, not the result. So we'll see. That's the Chalmette district with Salmon and Fontainebleau in it. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what that ends up looking like if Slidell can compete for a district championship in that. Because I mean, Chalmette's usually a good team, but that's one of the more wide open districts. I would say it's one of the smaller districts in 5A, and so I think there's a good chance that tells us. I mean, I think Letcher will be fine. It's Letcher. I think that probably tells us more about Slidell than it does about Letcher. That if Slidell can go out and beat that Letcher team, then we'll see what they can do, and that would be a huge bounce back. They only won 2 games last year. They didn't make the playoffs, so that'd be a huge bounce back for them to come back and be super be competitive with this, even if they don't go out and win it, but to give Chalmette and Salmon real games and be competitive with them would be really good forward progress for the Slidell team.
Yeah, big win for Coach Page and Slidell. How about Loyola Prep? Bryce Restovich, the quarterback Loyola. A lot of people are sleeping on him. He is a stud at quarterback. And,
He's
really a lot of points. 55-21 win over St. Frederick. So a lot of scoring up. I know Grant. We used to do the show with him. Say Shreveport with the scoring. A lot of scoring basketball. But big win for Loyola Prep over St. Frederick. Warren Easton gets a 48-7 win over LB Landry. So big win for Coach Phillips. Manny, how about Manny getting a win over Logansport? It's been you want to think with Manny with Jess Curtis, and now he's at Southside, but it's been a couple down years for Manny. So to start off the season with a win is really big over Logansport. 20-10 win over for Livingston over Ellender. We have Lakeside over Arcadia, 30-14. Lake Arthur shuts out Bazille, 35-0. Good win there for Lake Arthur. Lafayette Renaissance gets a win, 35-14 win over Prairieville.
That's a team on the rise. That program might start being interesting as soon as this year. Actually,
they actually pushed Dutchtown in the Jamboree. So
that says something. Lafayette, because Lafayette Renaissance, that's a younger school. That program's on the rise. They're kind of becoming one of those new schools in Lafayette to be taken seriously. And that's a really good talent area. They made the playoffs last year. They're in that district with, I believe they're in that district with LCA, and they're in the district with LCA and Notre Dame. So we're already talking about. I think as early as this year, they're going to start really pushing to be a part of that district conversation. They're in the same bracket as those two schools. That loaded Bunkie, Dunham, Newman, Calvary Baptist division, the one that Episcopal's into. That I think as soon as this year, they're going to start being an interesting team. I don't know if they'll be a full contender, but they're a team that can maybe knock someone off and like, whoa, they're in the quarterfinals. Wait, how did that happen? You know, they might be like the 10 seed or something, and then they beat a 7 seed Bunkie or something. That's, you know, whatever it might be. Like, I think that's kind of where we might see them in their progression as a program.
East Louisiana, how about this win? That's a big win over Kentwood. I mean, a team that was in the semifinals last year, lost to Vermilion Catholic under the water tower. And East Louisiana getting a big win over Kentwood, and we know about the pedigree of their program. So we talk about the Episcopal losing in that district, and East Louisiana saying, hey, don't forget about us. That's a big statement win.
That's a big win. A big win. That district might be a lot more interesting this year, because last year it was just Dunham and Episcopal played in the rain for the district, and that was kind of it.
And it's been like the last couple of years. It's been Dunham or Episcopal, but I mean, Slaughter's getting better. Sarchar's getting better. East Louisiana's getting better. So
if you're following Jace, you'll see a lot more about that district this year, like you do every year, because you'll see Episcopal games.
I'm very familiar with that district.
He's very familiar with the district.
Very familiar. Winfield gets a win over Jonesboro Hodge, 26-8. For Winfield, Chalmette shutting out John Ehret, 35-0.
That John Ehret rebuild might take some time.
Yeah. Yep. They do have the right coach there.
They have the right coach there. They absolutely have the right coach there, but it'll take some time. For all the talk we had about Slidell, Chalmette just might also have improved a lot this year, and we'll see how that goes.
Right. Chalmette's going to be in the running for the district championship for sure. Jeanneret gets a win over Patterson, 44-20. Ranger gets a win, 47-19 over Independence. St. Paul's defeats Live Oak, 48-13. Big win for St. Paul's over Live Oak. Holy Savior Menard shuts out Northwood Alena. We have Mentorship Academy getting a win over East Hipperville, 28-20. So a big win there for Coach Spears and the Sharks. Let's see, Haynesville shutting out North Webster, 38-0 all the way up north. I mean, talk as north as it can get.
Haynesville playing some of these 1A Shreveport teams just doesn't feel like it's fair at times.
Right. So Coach Brunt, his first game over at Haynes Academy, coming up just short to Country Day, 28-21. Good game there. How about good results here? Homer. How about a win for Homer? Because Houghton plays at 5A. So we get a 36-34 win over Houghton. Homer's always been one of the top teams, the lower class. But anytime you can get a win over a 5A team, even Houghton's been a respectable program at 5A. That's a good win.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. I've harped on the point all episode, all video long, that's a big difference. That wins. That's very impressive.
Let's see. We have Conville defeating Booker T. Washington 43-6. We have Woodlawn Shreveport getting a win over Green Oaks 36-28. Oh my goodness! Talk about the points here. Grant getting a 69-50 win over Montgomery. Montgomery's got a really good quarterback. He's one of the guys that we invited to play in the Gridiron Football American Bowl game this year, Mason Jordan. And Grant, they had 4 players from a Gridiron Football Bowl game that signed. and they got some talent coming back too. But I did not expect the basketball score tonight from that game, 69-50. Another high score. Usually in week one, we saw this a lot in college football, that the defenses are ahead of the offenses. It might be a little bit of the
Not always here.
football.
Yeah, Grant lost. Now, Grant giving up some points to a really good Montgomery offense and a Gridiron Football All-American at quarterback makes some sense. Grant lost 4 defensive Gridiron Football. All 4 of the All-Americans for Grant last year were on defense. Yeah. So you're replacing a lot of talent. But I think it tells you a lot for Grant to be able to score 69 points in response. Yeah.
Big win, though, for Coach Felton and Grant. Let's see. Ben's Ford Christian, 38-24 win over Silva Bay in Bay Springs. Picayune gets a win over North Shore. So Mississippi getting a win over Louisiana there, 27-13. Pope John Paul losing to Pearl River, 34. Seeing some kind of the in-state schools playing out of state. Glenbrook getting a 64-6 win over Magnolia School of Excellence. So big win there for the Apaches. Rayville getting a 14-12 win over General Trask.
What happened? What happened to General Trask's both of the units? That was the same team that did they win or lose to Delhi Charter? I think they lost, right?
Yeah, that was the game that was like 80.
Or not, Delta Charter. Yeah, that 80-42 game.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a very weird game. The more you think about that General Trask Rayville score, the weirder it gets. Because General Trask had that super high-powered offense, and although I think they had a transfer quarterback or something, I don't know. Anyway, but they had a high-powered offense, and they also made the semis last year, kind of out of nowhere. They knocked off someone en route to getting the semis, getting to Haynesville. So for them to score only 12 points and lose in week one, that's an interesting indicator of the kind of ebbs and flows of a season and where that team might be. We'll have to see. But also big win for Rayville.
Yeah, big win for Rayville. Franklin Parish, that's one of the favorites to compete for a state championship this year. Coach Burnett brought the Patriots to our media day up in Pineville. Huge expectations. This is definitely a team that can contend for a state title. 52-0 win over West Jefferson. Lafayette, how about putting up the points? Coach Heron making his return to his alma mater, Lafayette High School. The Mighty Lions get a 52-8 win over Franklin, putting up a lot of points there. Lakeshore getting a big win over Fountain Blue, 45-7. Faraday putting on Vidalia. Faraday is going to be a really dangerous team this year. 54-12 win over Vidalia. And the Trojans got a lot of talent, some college Division I guys on their team. So they got a lot of talent, and they're going to be a threat to watch out for. Eunice, how about that? Getting a win over Northwest. And this is Northwest.
Wow.
Got a lot of talent coming back. Kevon Johnson. And this is a team that went to the quarters last year and should be a team that should make. But Eunice getting a 16-14 win over Northwest on a little bit of an upset there.
Yeah. Jeez. Wow. What?
Yeah. Pretty impressive there. ERAF getting a win 34-19 over Laurelville. St. James put it on East St. John in the battle of the Wildcats. But the state runner-ups, St. James Wildcats, win over East St. John. So the struggles seem like the struggles have continued for East St. John.
Well, playing St. James isn't going to help.
It doesn't help because Sterlington, St. James, they're definitely two of the top teams in that classification when we talk about in the playoffs moving forward. How about Holy Cross getting a 27-26 win over E.D. White?
E.D. White was leading in this game in the fourth, so this was a comeback. It was I want to say 26-20 or 26-21. So they were So Holy Cross came back and ended up winning this game. Probably an awesome game to watch, especially since E.D. White lost. Big win for Holy Cross. I actually honestly think that tells me more about E.D. White than it does about Holy Cross, because it's like with the Catholic League teams, it's like they're Catholic League teams. They're all there's a certain like bar that you are presumed to be if you're a Catholic League team, even if you finish like second to last or third to last in that district. You're, especially if you're like punching above your weight, like Edie White is. You're talking about a 4A team going and playing lacrosse. If you can compete with them, be in the lead in the fourth quarter, giving up the win is unfortunate, obviously. But I know that coaching staff, I know that team. It's a really good team. So yeah, no, that's still important as a first kind of data point for that team.
We talked about that. Dunham, they have this guy. I'm not sure you've heard of him or not. I think he's pretty decent at throwing the football. Elijah,
also pretty decent at running the football.
He can throw. He can run. Yeah, he's pretty good at this football thing. They scored a lot of points.
Reportedly has a right arm.
Yeah, he does. He can throw it pretty far. Pretty accurate. So we all know about Elijah Haven and Dunham. Has a chance. This could be their best team they've had with Coach Weiner. Big win over Coach Cody making his debut as the Parkview head coach. But all Dunham here, 49-14. DeRidder, they get a big win over South Beauregard, 42-13 for Coach Parmley and the Dragons. A couple guys went by to the Gridiron game, and they got some talent this year. So DeRidder could be a team to watch out for. Denham Springs against Hammond. Denham Springs with a win, 34-15. Talked to Coach Beard, went to our media day. Very experienced team. You talk about that district being wide open and having a chance to win. 40 seniors for this Denham Springs football team.
What?
You're right. 40 seniors.
Does Episcopal have 40 players on the roster?
I don't think they do. But
we were at the Episcopal game today, and so it's like I don't know if I saw 40 players on that sideline.
Right. 40 seniors. So
I went to Vanderbilt, guys. I went to a 4A school. We barely had 40 boys in my senior class.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
so ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. A ridiculous stat. And Denham Springs is a team that can definitely make a run. They got the Goldman twins at quarterback and receiver. Hayden Ray is a load. He's a tight end, and not a lot of people are talking about. He transferred from Live Oak to Denham Springs, so he is a stud. So
Hammond's a good team, by the way. We watched him.
Yeah, Hammond.
Fred Franklinton in this thing ball. Spring game. So that means a lot. 40. I can't get
that number, huh? 40 seniors.
That's so many seniors.
You heard that right. 40
oh God. Anyway,
Central had to hang on, against De La Salle. Now, De La Salle's a good team. They put it on Newman in the Jamboree. And I think that tells me a lot about De La Salle.
This tells me a lot about De La Salle.
That you can go on the road.
Whoa!
I think this game was played at Central. So go on the road, play Central, a team that won state last year, and they look really great in their Jamboree against EA, and hang with them. They only lose 20-13. So De La Salle, watch out for the Cavs. I mean. A good win for Central, obviously. You get the win, but I think I told you.
Actually, if anything, that kind of concerns me about Central. I'll be honest. That was what? That there's like a confluence of results here. De La Salle, bodying De La Salle, beating down on Newman. Central crushing East Ascension. De La Salle competing with Central, and you're like, wait a second, what? You're just
one is one of those things that you
the
get.
Stuff is very volatile right now. You don't know the full resume. You don't know the full body of work.
Right. It is week one. You're dealing with a lot of cramps, a lot that you're playing football for full 48 minutes for the first time. You do make the big jump from week one to week two. Is what. Yeah. Usually what coaches would say. You make that jump from week one to week two. So I'm not going to overreact or anything to this. So, but Central, they're still a good team. They got the rest of their
yeah. Like it's it's a data point. I should make that clear. Like it's a thing to think about. I wouldn't start worrying about it. I mean, honestly, even if they did kind of struggle coming out
the game.
So, first off, they won the game. So yeah, that's one of those things that like sometimes I feel like sports bettors or people that like do fantasy or whatever, they forget about like the only thing that the players actually care about is winning the game. Central doesn't care if they pour it on De La Salle or not. They won the game. So it might have been a situation where Central was up 20-6 and De La Salle couldn't move the ball in offense the whole time. And Central was just dominating, and then De La Salle scored a garbage.
Yeah, we didn't watch the game.
We didn't watch the game. We only see the score. So it's like this is one data point. There is no like when I say it's actually a little concerning for Central. It should be pointed out that's just an observation made from one game. I don't know who they play next week, but whoever they play next week, we'll learn more as the season goes on. So let's like, yes, it's also a big deal. It's a good thing for De La Salle to have been able to keep it as close as they did too. So it's just one thing, but also it's like, it's not a very fun show if we go, well, this is one game. We'll see.
Yeah. Right. So we'll know a lot more about.
It's interesting though.
Yeah.
Interesting how that goes.
I got also stats in that Dunham game. Elijah Haven, 340 total yards and 5 total touchdowns in the game. So, he's
an okay football player. I don't know.
Okay football player, right?
He might be able to start for the Saints right now. I'm not sure.
I mean, yeah, you're probably right about that too. Okay, let's move on. The Armand Woods Charter with a 37-24 win over Lincoln Prep. We have South Terrebonne, 17-0 over Como. We're going to try to go live for another 18 minutes here. We're recording this, but till 1 o'clock, so we're going to try to go through these scores. Struma.
Yeah, see if we can get through this. Yeah.
Over Collegiate, 58-0.
Yeah.
Good
Whoa! Go Terriers.
Hey, how about your Terriers, Alex?
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
I mean,
jeez,
wow.
Over Central Lafourche. So
hey, look, hey, I know we just talked to Coach Williams about Madison Prep. He's great and all, but I think we know who the real favorite is in that situation. Oh yeah, definitely. You know, you knock off the 25 seed in the public school 5A bracket last year, and all of a sudden, actually, on a serious note, beating a 5A school by 35 points or whatever that number is, 43 points, is like, that's notable. Blowing out a 5A school is actually fairly notable. That is interesting. That does kind of. I saw Ethan Henney. He was the backup last year for most of the season. Jack Chestnut got hurt before the first Edie White game. I was at that Edie White game, and Ethan Henney he looked raw, but he looked talented in his first start. And so, yeah, I could see like a year of development. It'll be his senior season. It could be an interesting year for Vanderbilt on a more serious note. Yeah. And Central Lafourche isn't the most like world renowned 5A school or anything, but blowing out a 5A school as a 4A school is notable, actually.
Moving on, as a Flying Alex Allison's get a win. So we the Delcom Panthers get a 51-30 win over Centerville. Cedar Creek gets a 19-14 win over Delhi Charter. Catholic Point compete, and that's actually an underrated matchup because Red River's got a lot of talent. One district.
That game was probably awesome.
Yeah, these are two defending district champions that won district for the first time in a long time. So that's actually a really underrated matchup. But Catholic Point Capee getting a win over Red River. And this is we talk about a battle, Alex, between two district champions. Let's talk about a battle between two state champions. And this advantage goes to Catholic New Iberia with a 20-0 win, a shutout over Vermilion Catholic. And Vermilion Catholic trying to find their identity on offense now because you don't have Jonathan Dartez back there. And he accounted for a lot, probably 98.2 or something percent, some crazy number. With the numbers he put in.
Look, when you win the state championship by having your quarterback break the total carries record in the Superdome in a single game, and then that guy's also a senior, it's gonna be tough it's going to be really tough to replicate that. And that Catholic New Iberia defense is awesome. It is an awesome defense. So that's not super surprising. And that doesn't necessarily mean Vermilion Catholic won't be a contender this year in their district and in their state. So it's going
to take a little bit. I mean,
it'll take some time.
That's once in like a generate, like for that level. He's the all-time leading like touchdown record holder in LHSA history. So
yes,
that's a
generational high school football player in Louisiana.
Right.
Like you don't see that come along often.
Right. So we'll follow that, and Coach Prejean's a great coach, so they're going to figure something out. But Catholic New Iberia getting a big win, defending state champions, off to a really good start. It's what time? We are like an hour and 46 minutes into this, and we haven't even mentioned my alma mater yet.
By the way, like objectively the most interesting game of the weekend. By the way,
and we are like almost hours before mentioning it. But
this and Weston Acadiana were definitely the two big marquee matchups.
Yeah, they were the big marquee matchups in the state. Those two for sure. But Catholic getting a win, 32-23. These are two of the powerhouses in 5A. Catholic coming off to a great start. Remember, they lost to the state semifinals. I called that game against Edna Carr. And for them to start off the season kind of outdoing Destrehan, big-time recruits, Jabari Mack, Blaine Bradford going against each other. I think Jabari Mack had like a 100-yard interception return for a touchdown in this game. He had 100-yard interception return for a touchdown.
I love watching like players that are clearly going to be playing at the next level when they're playing the level below. You know, like players like Jabari Mack and Blaine Bradford. Hey, look, it's the Fighting Jace LeJeunes. And they ended up
done. That's right. That's how the Bears do it. You know how they had Jaden Miles at running back. Talk about embarrassment of riches. It wasn't Jaden Miles that got the job done at running back. They have a underclassman running back, Justin Baptiste. He scores 2 touchdowns in the game. So Catholic able to run the football. But crazy enough, Jabari Mack was non-existent on offense. I think he had like 3 catches for they held him on offense.
Blaine Bradford locked him down probably.
Yeah. Well, Jackson Fields, I think he only threw. I heard like the stat line when I was just driving because Catholic High was finishing a radio broadcast, but I think that Fields only threw the ball for like 60 yards or something like that. They totally shut out the passing game. Now, Malachi Dabney did some damage on the ground. He ran for over 200 yards, but they just could not get anything going in the air. And that was a big reason when Catholic was able to win the football game. So, big win for my Bears over Destrehan. A big statement because there were a lot of eyes on this game. It turns out being like the top game in the state. Parkway gets a 43-13 win over Carroll. Carroll on another head coach. They had to make before the season, they had to make a coaching change. So kind of a tough break there, but Parkway get the win. How about upset? Ready for this, Alex?
Yeah.
Karen Crow defeating St. Thomas More. Karen Crow actually got off to a big lead. St. Thomas More came back, and then the game was tied at 27. Karen Crow kicked some field goal with a minute left to go. But how about Carson Gursey getting the win as the starting quarterback for the Golden Bears? And he's going up against a really good quarterback as well over there, and Cole Bazeron, who's just committed to Virginia Tech this offseason to play quarterback for the Hokies. So, Karen Crow's a good program. Coach Peters is going to do a good job there, but
STM is STM.
I am surprised.
I don't care that Karen Crow's a 5A school and STM's a 4A school. Doesn't matter. It's STM.
That was one of my biggest takeaways too. Was one of the biggest wins. I was actually trying to get in touch with Coach Peters to come on the show and talk about the win over FCM, but well, very impressive win. I mean, I guess that's by far the biggest win of the Coach Peters era at Karen Crow. So
this is Guernsey's team now. Chance Papineau's the biggest star, and he'll go. He's like a 3-star recruit.
He's a wide receiver, and he's gonna be a playmaker. So
he's awesome, and like he'll be the big star everyone talks about this season. But in terms of like leadership and stuff, I think Guernsey's gonna start taking those reins as the quarterback, and that's gonna be super exciting to watch. That's
Gridiron football, junior high, All-American Carson Guernsey that we're talking about. So huge win for Coach Peters and the Golden Bears. What a win for them. I would say the biggest win up to this point for them. That's one of the biggest takeaways for sure was Karen Crow getting that win over St. Thomas More. Ouachita Parish getting a win over Captain Shreve, 37-19. So Captain Shreve, their quarterback, transferred to Calvary Baptist. So that I'm sure kind of dealing with that was a big factor in that game. Sam Mall, how about that? Being CE Bird by a large margin. Did not see that one.
CE Bird's a good school. That's a good team.
Bird's good. They're a really good 5A program up in Shreveport, and Sam Mall's is a home and home. They played them last year, but to beat them like that is very impressive. Big win for Coach Oliver and the Gators. They got some talent. They got some players that play in their that attend their camps this offseason. So Sam Mall, another team in that district to keep an eye on for sure.
I want to talk about this game for a second. Actually, as stupid as this sounds, no, not St. Amant CE Bird.
That's you were talking about Block and Buckeye.
Block and Buckeye.
Block 45-0.
Yes. I know this isn't going to cross anybody's radars. Block was a 2-8 team in 1A last year.
Yeah.
Buckeye finished third in the 3A district with Bunky and Gina. Buckeye finished 6-4. They were also the biggest school in their district. They were one of the only two schools to play in Division II, not Division III. So we're talking about a Division II school that finished above 500 last year against a 1A school that did not make the playoffs. And Block beat the brakes off of them?
Yeah.
45-0? That's one of those, like, whoa, what is happening here results.
Yeah.
That, like, both of these teams I have different opinions of now. Was not expecting a result like this. And I think it needs to be higher.
That's shocking. We're Block and Buckeye. Buckeye's been a pretty solid program. Block struggled the last couple of years. So, that's a little bit of a surprise for sure. Natchez Central, too, getting a 41-0 shutout win over Bro Bridge. So, a little bit shocking result there as well for Natchez Central getting a win by that margin. Bossier, how about Bossier putting up a 60-burger up, 63 points, a 63-25 win over North Caddo.
Shadow Shreveport.
Yep. Ravens Davenport got some stuff going up there.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's the Ravens Davenport team.
Yep. Booker T. Washington getting a 56-0 win over Lakeview. Morgan City getting a win. I know it's been a struggle for Morgan City over the last couple of years, but they get a win over Berwick, 40-14. Belchase putting up a shutout over McMain, 61-0. Beatman Charter with a 50-24 win over Del High. Baker playing on Terra, 50-6.
I think St. Michael's might be okay next week.
I think so. Donaldsonville with a 34-13 win over Assumption. We have Ascension Episcopal over Kaplan, 41-7. Another standout game, Alex, coming up. How about LC?
I saw this.
Win over 27-26. I actually was trying to text Coach Chop. They call him Coach Chop over there at LCA. And he's actually putting his kids to bed So that's why he couldn't join us tonight. But big win for Chop. Remember the whole situation last year being
very tumultuous season last year.
Yeah, he's a full-time guy, and for them to get a win over Rummel, that's going to be a marquee game in the Dome next week with Rummel playing U High.
This is. Sorry to interrupt you.
You're good.
This is one of those games. I think there was just this sort of feeling I had with like LC, very tumultuous year last year. You're worried about kind of how, the power structure in Lafayette's kind of changing around them. And then they come out here against a team in Rummel that they shouldn't beat. That's nothing against LC, but they're a 2A school playing against Rummel, and then they do it. they didn't just compete; they won. And that's crazy.
Yeah, big win for LCA over Rummel. I thought that game could go either way, and it clearly showed what kind of game it was. 27-26, and I believe last year Rummel won that game. I think
Rummel won the game. I want to say like 42-35 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a high
scoring. It was a high scoring competitive game, but Rummel came in on top. I was expecting something similar, but LC to pull out the win is a really good start to the season for them.
Well, everybody remembers the season Ash had last year. Well, they look pretty good again. Look at that score, 54-7 over West Feliciana. Coach Miners taking over at West Feliciana, but it was 51-0 at halftime, I believe. 51-0 at halftime. So you're looking at 54-7, like.
It's one of those running clock games, probably.
It was 51-0 in the first half. So this Ash team, Coach Bachman, they went to our media day up in Pineville, and they lost some pieces. JT Lindsay, everybody talks about that. A couple guys played in our Gridiron football bowl game last year.
Jarius Washington, David Lewis.
Yep, those three guys. But they got studs, especially on defense. Defense, they got a lot of return guys on that side of the ball, especially Xavier White. He's a stud at the linebacker position. I think he had almost 200 tackles last year. It was something crazy like that.
And you've got Carson Sellers back.
Yeah. So he's the guy. Max is the quarterback at Central. So it's Carson Sellers' team. So we're going to see how he runs with that. But Ash is going to be really good. And still, they're going to be a favorite in Division I select this year. Airline, you have to replace Ben Taylor, quarterback over there at Airline, but they got some good receivers. Kenny Darby, LSU commit. They're going to still chunk the football around. You got him to throw the football to. And they put up 56 points on Bar, 56-27. Final score there. Washington Marion, 44-14 over Abbeville. Another standout game. How about Calvary Baptist getting a 7 win over Oak Grove?
We thought this would be. I thought that game would be more interesting than it was.
Yep, lower school powerhouses right there. I thought it'd be much closer too. Calvary, especially there was some turnover from last year, especially replacing your quarterback, replacing James Simon. Last year, I thought last year's team was even better than the team that won state. But yeah, still, the train is trucking as it's still over there at Calvary. A big statement win, one of the more highly profile games in the state of Louisiana. John Curtis, how about a trip down to California and then putting up 54 points on Cathedral? They flew to Los Angeles and got a win, 54 points. What Louisiana is all about.
Yeah, that'll. I think. We say John Curtis had a down year last year in terms of. Yeah, they had a losing season in the regular season for the first time in literally 50 years, and then still made the semifinals because I don't know, black magic, I guess. And then I think they might be back, guys.
Yeah. Hey, anytime JT Curtis is roaming the sidelines, you ain't out of
You have to play the Imperial March every time the camera comes to him.
Winningest coach of all time. You're going to be in the football game, and you saw that. You saw that there. A big statement for John Curtis. Let's see, 32-28, Frederick Douglass over Cohen. We have Abramson Side Academy 14-2 win over Sarah T. Reed. I talked to Coach Markel Johnson. I think that game ended at like 10:45 last night. This was a Thursday game. They were like 30s and like all kinds of cramps. Like he told me, like he got home like at 10:45 last night. Like the longest game.
There were 16 points in the game.
Right.
Usually those games are short.
You would think, but there's always a first. It's like when you go to a football game, expect the unexpected, especially in high school football. And word, expect the unexpected there. Let's see. Madison with a 20-14 win over Ringgold. Wassman, a 36-6 win over Bastrop. And big win for John Diarse. You remember John Diarse? He played at LSU wide receiver. He was a teammate of Leonard Fournette, like those 2010 teams at LSU, and he gets the job done winning a football game, winning as a head coach there. Hamilton Christian getting a win, 39-14 over DeQuincy. Looks like we're going towards the end, Alex, because these are the Thursday scores. Westminster Christian, 26-16. This is in Lafayette. They get a win. Coach Gable gets a win over Albany, 26-16. We talked about Kinley Capital already. West Monroe, launching the Coach Dizer era, getting a win over Huntington. Grand Lake, 45-0 win over East Beauregard. I was at this game last night. Woodlawn and U High. U High gets a 49-8 win over Woodlawn. Fire and Ice, Sage Ingram, Corbin Odell. They combined for 3 touchdowns on the ground. The Cubs able to pull away from Woodlawn. And I joked with Coach Martin after the game. Playing surface a little bit better, right, than last year. Because remember, it was 3-0 last year in a mud bowl at Woodlawn High School. So a little bit of a better playing surface at U High. So Cubs able to pull away, get a victory there. Give a shout out to Coach Corville on Thursday. He was at Catholic High last year as assistant coach. Coach Corville's son, the legendary Karen Crow head coach, his son Michael Corville, gets his first win as Turnlings Catholic's head coach, 48-12 in his first game. How about a shock? This was really the biggest takeaway on Thursday. St. Charles Catholic getting a 36-3 win over Newman. Newman, you have a new coach for the first time in quite a long time. Nelson Stewart is no longer there. You have Aaron Weiss, who was the OC at U High. Now he's the head coach at Newman. St. Charles Catholic, Wayne Stein's been to the Dome like every single year. He was the coach until last year. So looks like St. Charles Catholic is back where they want to be after a big statement win over Newman.
Yeah, St. Charles is back in a we've talked about that bracket being a little bit more open, and Madison Prep being one of the favorites, U High being one of the favorites, and I think St. Charles will be back this year to being one of those teams in contention. Conversely, Newman's in a really rough division, and it's a rough start for them, for a team that's always been chasing that state championship, and it'll be a long road to get there again this year.
So we have Bonneville getting a win over Sophie B. Wright, 36-0. We have Andy. Poor Andy.
Poor Andy.
34 win for Westlake over the Rose Pine Eagles of finding Andy Bryson's. Come up just a little bit short against Westlake. So sorry, boss. Your Eagles did not get the job done against Westlake. All right, moving on. Madison getting a 20-14 win over Ringgold. Covington shuts out Bogalusa 49-0. Pine, they're going to be a really good team again this year. Talking about media day. Pine getting a 37-14 win over St. Thomas Aquinas. North Iberville starting off the season, their second season of varsity action. They're going to be a tough team again this year. 47-20 win over Central Private, the Red Hawks. North Central getting a win over Maryville, 46-40. Big win for North Central. And this is another game on Thursday that was a big standout. It was Neville getting a 33-32 win over Evangel. Pop Houston was doing Pop Houston things. Neville, I think they won. I think Evangel was trying to kick a game-winning field goal, I believe, and it was blocked. And Neville was able to hold on to or it was an extra point. I gotta go back and look. But still, I mean, for Evangel to hang in there with a team that you saw in the semifinals last year against Central, you had to replace some guys. Obviously, Jalen Nichols, who played in our bowl game at the running back position, but they still got a lot of talented guys on defense. Quarterback. Still, I mean, that was lots of game-winning field goal attempts. So
and I mean, and look, here's what I'll say about this. Like, super like good thing for Evangel Christian to be in this position, for them to be able to have competed with a state power like Neville. The only thing is, like, you have Pop Houston. To me, it's more about Pop Houston doing the things that you're hoping he can do, right? And so it's really good to see him rising to the occasion against a big opponent and competing and a guy that's that hyped up, getting to see him, help raise, and it's a team game, but help raise the tide, raising all boats around him and helping a team be this good. Because competing with Neville is a big deal. Because we're talking about the 1 seed in the bracket in the non-select division last year. We're talking about a team that made the semifinals, one of the best teams in the state in that division. So if Evangel Christian is playing at that level, and this isn't just some weird random down year for Neville or a fluky week 1 result or whatever, we could be talking about potentially a serious team this year, which could be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I tell you one thing. Evangel's going to be fun to watch. So, I mean, no matter what, they're going to be a fun team to watch this year. Delta Charter with a 48-8 win over LaSalle. Westgate was able to hang on last night, 28-20 over Lake Charles Prep. Opelousas Catholic as they win over Iota, 14-7. Lower scoring game than I would have originally thought.
Yeah.
Teams. Ascension Catholic in the post-Chad Elsie era, 45-40. They still got a really talented running back in Trevin Simon. He had himself a big game. He's also invited to play in our bowl game.
That's a 1A over 5A, by the way.
How about your guy getting the first win, Taylor James getting a win at Ascension Catholic? So
so Taylor James was the defensive coordinator at Vanderbilt while I was a student there, so I'm familiar with him. I'm trying to be unbiased in my reporting, but I'm rooting for him. I'll probably swing by trying to cover it.
Sailed with the Catholic stuff and the Vanderbilt stuff already. So
but no, I'll try to. It's actually interesting. We played HL a couple of times while he was there. And so he's obviously familiar with the area. But it's worth mentioning, the most notable thing about this is that's a 1A over 5A result.
It is. Yep.
So, that's a notable win. I know HL's not a super prestigious program or whatever, but it's a 1A school beating a 5A school. So that's always going to be notable. I don't think Ascension Catholic's going to be dropping off much. I mean, losing Elsie is losing Elsie. But, the drop-off might not be as severe as you might expect from losing a star like that.
No, I think they'll be just fine. And I'm going to give a shout out to the LaBeoufs. Troy LaBeouf, the voice of the Ascension Catholic Bulldogs for VSN. He actually called the game last night with his son, Camille. Camille, he's actually the QB coach at Thibodeau with Lowell Narcisse. And he played quarterback last year for Ascension Catholic. And he was able to call the game last night with Troy. So father-son on the mic for VSN on Thursday. So I'm going to shout out to the LaBeoufs. That's pretty cool. Anytime you get to do
Absolutely.
that. And Camille's good. I mean, I think Camille has a future in that too. He was pretty good from what I was able to hear. Port Barry gets a 24-13 win over Crowley. Church Point gets a 27-14 win over North Vermilion. Central Catholic shuts out White Castle 35-0. Mamu, how about
Whoa!
that?
What?
2-6. Coach LaQuinton Lamb and the Green Demons were flexing on the Bolton Bears 62-6.
Okay, well now I have to look up something that you keep going, but now I'm going to look up something.
I think I already said this game. Westminster winning. Covenant Christian.
Hey, Covenant Christian.
Yep. Gang a win over Thomas Jefferson. Karen Discovery over Fisher 40-0. And I'm trying to see if there's any other scores. I think that's actually about it, Alex. I mean, I think we kind of went through the whole shebang.
All right, let's go to bed.
Yeah, I'm with you here. So I think Rain won 35-7. I saw Bel Air won tonight. They beat Glen Oaks 28-12. I'm trying to see if there's anything that I missed, potentially could have missed. Jules, I think I covered pretty much about everything as you can imagine in this long show. So we're going to wrap this up. I know we're pretty tired after going through everything. It wasn't live. I apologize for the inconvenience there, but still working on some kinks, but we're going to get it right. But this will be posted. Obviously, you'll see this as you're watching. But we're going to end the show with final overall thoughts, Alex. What were the biggest things that stood out to you tonight?
First off, it's good to have football back. Of course, college football started kind of properly last week, but we're getting high school and NFL back this week. Super fun to be back in that kind of realm of Monday through Thursday. You got whatever you got going on, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's football. And so that's kind of an exciting situation to get to do again. I'm kind of giddy for that. I think some big winners. You got St. Charles Catholic's a big deal. The Ruston Acadiana result is shocking. That's a sort of result to take shockwaves through the state. I think Ruston, not that they were ever gone, but it's going to be. There's a lot of notions I have now that are conceived about Ruston that it'll take a lot of work to come off of those, especially given how Neville looked this week. And we'll see about Ash. Ash obviously is going to compete in that district too, but as of right this second, the way Ruston looked against Acadiana, you kind of have to favor them in that like Murderers Row district as being the favorite. So that's I think a big thing. Catholic beating Destrehan. So the Catholic Destrehan game is unlike the other marquee matchup, actually lived up to its billing. Sorry, Acadiana. But Catholic came out on top. That game was really fun. I don't think you learn too much about either team. They're just two really good teams that'll be state championship contenders. But they got a chance to test, against each other. Evangel, I think, might be one of the other big takeaways in 5A. At the very least, Pop, now a junior, might be so good on offense that they might be competitive with more teams, which is interesting. I'm sure there are other takeaways, but we kind of highlighted them throughout the video, so I'll kind of just leave it at that. Yeah,
the main winners of those games for sure were the biggest takeaways. I'm gonna say a lot of the coaches we talked to tonight. I mean, I think a lot of the coaches coaching their first game with their teams and getting immediate success. I mean, Coach Garrett Kreamer getting a win over a defending state champion, starting off for St. Martinville. Coach Jimmy Zachery starting off with a win at Liberty over Southern Lab. It was a big takeaway. Matt Chop Stanford, getting a win over Rummel in his first game as the full-time coach at LCA. So I think that really stood out to me for week one. But a lot of great games. We talked about it was an action-packed week one slate. And it's going to be a fun football season, Alex. I'm looking forward to doing this with you every Friday night. Hopefully next one's actually live. So we actually be live on Facebook. But you'll be watching this. This will actually be uploaded after we post this. So it's going to be every Friday night. The schedule's going to be a little different in season 2 for Ballin In Da Boot. We're not going to do a Monday show like we did in last year. what we're going to do is we'll do a live show every single Friday night. And then when the playoffs come around, we'll do a Friday night show and we'll do a Monday show with the bracket. So, Alex, it's going to be really fun. Got a whole football season coming up, and looking forward to another exciting second season of Ballin In Da Boot.
Absolutely. Can't wait for it.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to share it out on Facebook. It'll be on YouTube and Facebook. I appreciate all the coaches that chimed in and chatted with us here today. Coach Tommy Johns over at Iowa getting a big win. Coach Landry Williams getting a big win for Madison Prep, joining us. Jimmy Zachery joining us from Liberty, and then kicking things off, Coach Kreamer as well. So appreciate all these coaches for coming on, and we're hopefully continue that part of it as well, adding that little wrinkle to it, and some coaches, some first initial thoughts, after a big time win. So that's gonna be pretty cool throughout the season. So for Alex Allison, I'm Jace LeJeune. Enjoy your football weekend. We'll be back next Friday night to recap what should be an exciting week 2 in Louisiana high school football.